There's about estimated 1.4 million displaced people in Rafah. They were people from all over the Gaza Strip were told to move south, that's where it was safe. And now they're being bombarded and being told to move, but there's literally nowhere for them to go. They're at the Egyptian border. They can't go into Egypt. They can't go into the water. They can't go into Israel proper, and they can't go back north. So it's the most highly densely populated place on Earth right now, and they are being attacked.
Bombs are dropping! Not another nickel! Not another dime! Not another nickel! Not another dime! No more money for Israel's crime! No more money for Israel's crime!
So, there's no water, no food, and I think people, whereas I'm watching various folks who live there posting that a lot of people are just kind of accepting that death is imminent for them.
All these people would not be able to find any place to go.
Well, America is funding this war.
The U.S. Senate has passed a bill worth more than $95 billion to provide foreign aid to Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan, following a marathon of speeches that stretched into the early hours on Tuesday.
A lot of misinformation and propaganda being spread actively. There's quite a few of us trying to get ceasefire resolutions through the city councils, because when we have spoken to Huffman and Thompson, our congressional representatives, they have been fairly disrespectful to us, dismissive, and haven't been willing to work with us. So that's why we're going to the local city councils to try to make, communal statements. But there are people showing up opposing us and spreading a lot of misinformation. Huffman also told me directly that Palestinians need to take responsibility for what happened on October 7th. And I reminded him that Palestinians are not the equivalent of Hamas. The Palestinian citizens are in general very peaceful people. They just want to be able to survive, and to blame all of Palestinians for what Hamas did is really rather racist, to be honest. We did pass it in Kotari. We're still working on Santa Rosa, Sebastopol, and Petaluma. I'm not up to date on Sebastopol. I need to catch up. I know that it was agendized. Petaluma is the one that I have been specifically focused on, and that has been really, really difficult. There's city council members who are being bombarded with a lot of misinformation. I worked on the Petaluma ceasefire resolution with 4 Jewish folks and me as a 1 Palestinian, but what is being spun is that the only Jewish voice is the Jewish voice from B'nai Israel Synagogue, and so all of the other Jewish folks, and there's so many Jewish folks showing up, their voices are really being erased. It's horrible to watch.
I think we just have to show up for every single movement. It's not just a movement for a free Palestine. It's a peace movement to take care of and love and support and demonstrate allyship with every single minority group who has been genocided. I especially, Jews for Palestine. There's a lot of Jewish people that feel unsafe or ostracized within their communities for being radicals or for being anti-Zionist. And I would say to those people, change starts from within. And when someone that you are close to is able to influence you and change your mindset, those are the grassroots, That's where everything comes from.
Silence is violence, right? So as scary as it is to be speaking out, I have 2 kids who are in college, my own children. Palestinian college students are continuing to speak up because this hits so close to home, and we understand that we are the voice for the people in Gaza and the West Bank who are being violently silenced. So if Palestinian college students are willing to risk so much, and they are being targeted, they're being shot and stabbed and killed in this country, then we really need our allies who have so much more privilege to be brave and speak out, and sure, do it in a safe way.
that is absolutely our job, is to put ourselves at risk for a cause like this, because there are people who don't even have a choice to put themselves at risk. You know, they're living in a war zone. Rafah is the most densely populated place on earth, and it's being bombed every single day. And the least that we can do is take a little bit of a risk and show up.
But they're trying to say that the ceasefire resolutions are pro-Hamas. And that's been said publicly by one city council person, and it's offensive. A ceasefire needs to happen immediately. That's the least thing that needs to happen. And humanitarian aid needs to be delivered immediately. Clean water, food. And young children are literally pulling grass out of the ground and eating it because there's no food, and they're drinking dirty water. And then medical aid needs to be delivered immediately, since the majority of hospitals are no longer functioning. So those things need to happen before, people keep talking about peace, but peace can't start when there's no justice and there's no equality. For a peace conversation to happen, you need to have two equal sides, and it's a very imbalanced situation. This is not a free society for Palestinians. I've been there, and there's no equality there. So I think there needs to be a restructure and led by the international community. Actually have a friend who's stuck in the West Bank. We grew up together in Washington State. She started an organization called United in Humanity. She delivers medical relief to people in encampments, and she's been delivering, she's successfully gotten a few trucks of food and water into Gaza. She's stuck in the West Bank, and she's an American citizen. She's afraid to travel, but she's in fear for her life, and she's reached out to the U.S. Embassy, and they have offered no support for her in trying to safely get out of the country. I've lived in the Middle East, but I've been into Israel, Palestine a couple of times. I was strip searched at rifle point twice. I had to go through checkpoints. I experienced that, Palestinians, we have special colored license plates so that we're easily identifiable. It's scary. It's a very scary situation to be Palestinian and to be there. I think there is a conflict right now between the majority of the international world and the United States. And sadly, the United States has the power and authority to stop the genocide, but they're choosing not to. I think the rest of the international world, for the most part, is siding with ceasefire. We saw what happened with South Africa taking Israel to court, and to me, that's a big deal, considering South Africa's history. So more and more, Belgium is refusing to do arms deals with Israel, and other countries are starting to fall in line. Just like during Black Lives Matter, we need the allies to be showing up and seek out Palestinian leadership, I think that's the other piece of it, is that Palestinians need to be platformed, and, I think if you're new to this, then you need to be seeking out Palestinian voice and leadership and find out what Palestinians are asking for, and then find a way to organize. There's so many opportunities. Maybe find a professor who is pro-Palestinian, or find a humanitarian organization on campus, a human rights organization, a social justice organization, and if they're not speaking up, ask them why. Israel has the fourth most powerful military in the world, and that they're saying that they are, just mass murdering civilians to try to get to Hamas. What people might not know is that a couple of months ago, Israel was able to target an Irani military leader in Syria and target him very accurately and just get him in the home that he was in. So if they have the power to do that, then it doesn't make any sense that they've killed over 10,000 children who are absolutely not Hamas members. That's one. Two, if the argument is that in doing this, they aren't going to stop until they get rid of Hamas, what they're actually doing is they are creating Hamas, because all of these children and all of these men who are losing their homes, their families, and starving, they have nothing. They have nothing left. There's nothing left. There's no hope. So what do people do when they have no hope? They become desperate. And so what does desperation lead to? Sometimes violence, right? So if they're trying to get rid of Hamas, this is not. They're creating Hamas. They're creating more Hamas. This is not an effective way. So I don't think that is actually their intention. We have to wonder what their intention is. And they're saying it. If you watch Netanyahu, he says it. If you watch other leaders, they say it. They want to get rid of the Palestinians. They say it openly.
Defeated. The people united will never be defeated. The people united.
We have a role to be aware of every single thing our tax money pays for. We have a role to show up for the people that we are actively oppressing, and we have a role to dismantle the oppressive systems within our own country that we are all complicit in every single day. Because capitalism is unavoidable. We are all participating. And this is how we fight that.